Welcome to a very dark West Michigan morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning here in Grand Rapids. I'm headed to the tire store to put new front tires on the BMW i3, and I get asked a lot about expenses. Should I buy the i3? Will repairs be too much? So I want to break down in the time that I have to drive there, 10 minutes or so, the repairs we've done and what they've cost. And you can it might help you decide for yourself. The first issue we ran into with the BMW i3 was the 12-volt battery died. We made a video about that. It's in our catalog. When that dies, you're done. This thing isn't moving. You know, it's a bricked car until you get that 12-volt replaced. And there's some nuances because with the BMW, the battery has to be, computerly linked, oh, that's a word, to the car. These things are engineered very tightly. You can't just grab a battery that's the right size and throw it in there. It has to be, made to fit that BMW i3. And there's a way you can do it yourself. We also made a video about that. But what we did is had it go to the shop. And our total price to have the new battery and put in and synced up with the car was about $239. So that's a 12-volt battery replacement, at least in our experience, about 3 years ago. 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago now. Another thing that happened, the little tiny pump that moves your washer fluid, that little washer fluid pump, that just stopped working. No, it didn't stop working. I take that back. It started leaking. So you'd pour in your windshield washer fluid, boom, right to the ground. And if you live in a wintry area like us, that stuff is gold because that salty residue will get on your windshield. You can't see anything. So you need windshield washer fluid in the winter. So that one we did take care of ourselves. We bought the part for $12. This was 2 years ago. We bought the part for $12. Sarah and I did the work ourselves. We're not smart, genius people by any means. But it took us maybe 15 minutes. You simply remove the tub under the hood. You twist out the funnel that goes to the windshield washer fluid. You can see the pump, unplug it, pull it out, put the new one in. That was it. And it has not failed us since. So that's a $12 fix. Okay, tires, like I'm dealing with today. Tires, they're a specialty tire. They're made by Bridgestone for the BMW i3. Now you may find tires that are the right size for your i3, but if they're not the ones that are engineered correctly for the i3, they can be very dangerous. A friend of mine from Toronto sent me a picture of a friend that did that, and he put on what amounts to a donut spare tire on his BMW i3, and his wife lost control and destroyed it. So there you go. I mean, I'd be careful with that. So we've chosen to buy the specialty Bridgestone tire, the EP500 or the EP600. On the front, it's 500s on this car. The summer tire on the rears, it's the 600, the all-season. But this is what we paid for. They're in the back right now. I had them shipped to me from Tire Rack. $222 per tire. So that was after taxes. I think it was just about $450, $449. And I'm going to pay $50 to have them mounted and balanced at Rodriguez Tire, which is my favorite tire store in Grand Rapids. So that's it. Less than $500 to have the front tires replaced. When I did the rear tires, they were about $10 each more expensive. So maybe I paid $520 to replace those. So that's the tires, the 12-volt battery, the windshield washer pump, the brakes. I had to redo the front brakes finally, just the pads. The rotors were fine. You've got a really interesting alert system in the BMW i3. It's wired. It's not like that little piece of metal that just scrapes your rotor like other cars. It's a plug-in wired thing. I don't know if it's magnetic or how it tells that your pads are too worn. It goes off way too early, we found. One time I took them apart and just put them back together. They were nowhere near burned. When you go to buy brake pads, be careful. Because if you just search BMW i3 pads, it will sell you pads that are compatible with your calipers. They'll fit in your calipers, but they're like twice as thick as that would ever fit around your rotor. So that's because they fit other BMW cars that use the same caliper perhaps. But we tried forever, like, why can't I get these on here? Why can't I compress this plunger far enough to get these on? They're definitely the right size because they fit in my caliper. They're not the right size. Had to send them back and get the right ones, which are about half the thickness. that you would find in a regular brake pad. 60 bucks. That's what I paid for the brake pads, front and the back. And they came with a new sensor. And that sensor is only on your driver's side wheel. So keep that in mind. There's only one. It's on your driver's side wheel. But if you don't get that sensor installed correctly, you'll never be able to get rid of your brake light on your dashboard. When you do get it done correctly, you'll be able to reset that. You can YouTube videos on how to reset that. But you can't reset it unless you replace the sensor. So there you go. Tires, about $500 for the front, $500 for the back. The battery, less than $300 for the 12-volt battery replacement. The little pump that runs the windshield washer fluid, 12 bucks. And brake pads were 60 bucks. I hope that's some kind of help to you. It's certainly interesting to me. Just want to say a quick hello to my friend Andy in Toronto. Andy has this idea of starting a barbecue and EV channel, which I think is hilarious. Even though I'm mostly vegetarian, I just think it's hilarious and it would be fun. And maybe in the comments, let him know why you should do it. And maybe let his wife, Wing, know why she should let him buy a Ford Lightning. So then he can do off-the-grid barbecue with EV by plugging in the electric smoker, electric grills into the Ford Lightning. I don't know, hey, maybe it'll work. This would be a great story. Thanks for the members of the channel. You keep the wheels turning on the Positively Charged EV channel. Thank you to the Mug Club. You know what you did, and we appreciate you and everybody else who's been following along. Have a great day. I'm getting into some traffic, so it's best I don't keep talking. Another video though, the BMW i3, what happens when the battery goes dead, check that out.